Welcome to my So Studios. I'm Sophia. We always forgot her name. I'm trying to call myself Sophia. So Nyla. What we're doing today, we're making homemade paints from regular household supplies or kitchen supplies, right? Where we got this idea from is that when my students needed to have some paint, right? We decided that we would do supplies from around the house and make them that way, because if you can't go to the store during COVID, you could actually just make your own paints. But now we can actually go and pick them up ourselves. I mean, I know you can order them online. So we did go find some, and we're making watercolor paints today. So we found this set at BJ's, and it was $4.98. Normally like $6 something, right? And she's trying to get this one Shimmer watercolor. She loves the Shimmer. That one has sparkle. Again, $4.98. So we'll have the information about this below, or where you can find it at BJ's if you forget. But you can always rewind the video to find out. So we're gonna make our own. We're actually gonna make our own paints. And what do we have today? We have some baking soda. Voila. We have some cornstarch. Voila. And you know what this is? Did you like the smell?
What's it called?
Vinegar. And we have some corn syrup, really sticky corn syrup. Okay, nice little bowl. We have some spoons that we reclaimed from when we used them. We washed them and reused them again because we love to reuse things. Some paintbrushes.
So we don't
of course,
have
something to do what?
Get nothing.
Right.
It's mixed.
Mix, right? Okay. And we have also a funnel. Little funnel to put it into our bottles. Now what we did was we had some bottles that I used to use for cake baking, and they're empty now. So we're going to use them to actually store our watercolor paints in. But if you don't have that, guess what? You can reclaim a
water bottle.
water bottle, just like we reclaimed the spoons, and use those to store in. We also have some food coloring, and I love these. I get these from not AC more. I wish I had AC more anymore. They're gone. But we have this from Hobby Lobby. And they're small little containers. They're gel watercolor. So it makes the color just a little bit brighter. But if you don't, you can just get the regular food coloring from, the store. All right, so you ready to mix?
Yes.
Okay, what do you want to put in first?
Let's put in baking soda.
Baking soda. There you go. Put in your baking soda. Yeah, just a bit in there.
Pour the whole thing in.
All right. Now we always do our dry ingredients first. Right, Sanila? Okay. Get a mess. Don't make a mess. Yeah. All right. So you want to do the next one? Dry ingredients first. What is that? You remember? We went to the store and got it today. Cornstarch. Want some help?
Yeah.
I get it.
Woo! You see the smoke, guys?
Yeah. And what we need to do is you want to mix this up. No, wait, we mix it up a little bit. So you want to combine all the dry ingredients first to get out the lumps, so that your watercolor is not so lumpy. You want to do it? Then I'll hold this while you do that. Okay. Now the next ingredient that we're going to add is the corn syrup. The reason why we add the corn syrup before we add the vinegar, for you science people, because what's going to happen when I add that vinegar with that baking soda inside the container, right? It's going to have a chemical reaction and foam up, right?
Yes.
Which is really cool. She likes that part. So there is some science in art, if you didn't know.
Guys,
right?
watch like this.
Why'd you love this part?
Wow!
Look at all that foam. That's really cool. So give it a gentle little stir. And I'm gonna help you. We'll teamwork this. So she's gonna mix it up, and you get it all mixed together, combined really well. Again, for lumps, you can also use a fork if you want to kind of help mix this up. Works out really well. So is it my turn yet? Is it my turn yet?
Yes.
Is it my turn yet? Yay! And then I'll switch it back. So what I'm doing is kind of folding it in and getting all that mixed in there.
Just a lump right there.
Just a little lump, yeah. So you want to make sure that you mix it well, because those little lumps can affect your paint. I just take them and squish them down, but if you really want that smoothness, you want to make sure that you mix it well. Now, with sharing. Sharing is caring. Your turn, Sanila.
It looks like milk now.
It does, and I'm glad she said that, because you want it to be like a milky consistency. So when you get it all stirred up, you take a little bit, let it drizzle. Let me see you drizzle it down like you did before. And that's that milky consistency that you want, right? It's really cool, really drippy.
Ooh,
and now we're ready to add our food coloring. So we are going to actually utilize some new bowls here. I got some new bowls for you. Clean, 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 clean.
Clean out this stuff.
Yep. So we're going to take it and pour it into these little separate bowls. Yes. And it's a good idea to, once you get it in there, to give it another little stir. Right?
Pour, pour, pour.
Pour, pour, pour. We love to pour.
Can I get the purple and the blue?
Sure, that's your favorite, I know. So we're going to take the blue. Get to do the blue. And I'm going to do the green. Put a little bit in there. And we're going to mix this up. Mix, 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 mix. Right? You must really love blue a lot.
Yes, I love dark blue. Yeah.
Okay, so she wanted it darker, so she added a little bit more. I wanted mine a little bit lighter, but you can make it light and dark, so that's really good to remember that.
Look at this, guys.
Okay, and mix all those together. And when you get ready to paint, you want to give it a gentle little stir because all the dry ingredients settle to the bottom, the baking soda and the cornstarch. And then we get to pour it into these little bottles. So we have our little bottle.
There's no blood.
Right, and we're going to pour it in here. And we're going to do this in the next segment. So we're going to pause, and we're going to come back and show you all our paints mixed up, right, Sanila? And you'll get to see that part where we start painting. What we're going to do now is we're going to take these and we're going to store them. So if you want to store them, take the containers, either the water bottle or the little extra paint container that we have from old food coloring. Take your funnel, and you take your paints, pour it in, right? Give it a little tap, and it's ready to store. Because these are not actual food colors anymore, you might want to create your own labels. So we created some labels for this. And this is actually watercolor paint. So I just made some stickers. Little stickers. One says watercolor, one says Kool-Aid, corn syrup, and flower paint. Just regular Avery labels, round labels. And I like to put this on top of it so I'll know, hey, this is watercolor paints now. It's not anymore. It's not used anymore for actual food. We're just going to use it for watercolor. So you can always do that and take your paints and create some new labels on your bottles, right? Kenzie's actually going to paint with it for us. So Kenzie's actually going to take this and paint with it. And if your paint gets kind of icky, you can always add just a little bit more, add some water to it, kind of make it not. Yep, and mix it up. And when you paint with it, it should be like a translucent color, just like regular watercolors. You want to try it, Kenzie? There you go. Making like it looks just like watercolors. Let's show it to them. It's nice and transparent, just like regular watercolors.
It's dripping.
Yay! We got some little drip art. So that's really cool. You can make your own watercolors just from your household materials that you have in your home that you would normally use for cooking, but we use it to make what?
Paint.
Paint. Okay. We're gonna have instructions for that below our video when we finish. And I hope you guys enjoyed this time. This is one of the things I put on my classroom for my students to make their own paints during the COVID-19 when we had the lockdown. And so now you see how it's done, right? Finish, Kenzie's gonna keep on painting. All right, guys, so I really hope that you liked our DIY today for our homemade paints. Remember, you can store these in the little bottles, right, for about a week or two. And every time you get ready to paint, you want to make sure you shake it up, because just like regular paint, all of the sediments where the pigments and everything is, it actually settles to the bottom and then the solvent sits on the top. So you want to give it a gentle little shake each time. Don't forget about your labels. Remember to label it. You got a little bit on you? You won't melt. I know you're sweet, but you won't melt. So remember to shake them up before you use them, right? Kids, we have to give them a gentle little shake. And store them in these bottles, any kind of bottles you have, If you have water bottles, you can store them in water bottles. All right. We did want to show you Kenzie's little art. So this is the DIY paint, watercolor paint, and that's with the chemical water paint. It's really not much of a difference. It's pretty cool.
They're cool.
Right. Yeah, I like them.
They're the same color, but it's just like this one is kind of drippy more than that one.
Right, and the texture of it, this one has a little bit of a chalky texture to it, which I really like because I love textures. It's a little bit more muted than this one.
Look at this part up here.
Yeah, she really likes those colors, right? So you love the little drippy art. See our little drip that we had from before? It works. It merged together.
Look, when we were at the beach, it looks just like the water.
Oh yeah, it looks like beach water. So let's stand them both up so you can see them side by side. Not that much of a difference. So DIY paint, it works. Commercially produced watercolor paints, it works. So we made our own watercolor. We did some with the, see it? We did some with the commercially watercolors, and we like it, right? Pretty cool. So remember, all the information we have that we share with you today is at the bottom of the screen. Where is it at, Nyla? At the bottom of the screen. And we want to make sure that you like our page, right? Ring that what?
Bell.
And make sure you comment and share. Okay? So Studio is what? Out. Please remember to like, ring that bell, post, and share.